Welcome back. It is Braves Central. Barrett Sallee and Chris Dimino, the podcast that keeps you inside the Atlanta Braves. And Chris, it's been an interesting week. Obviously, the Brewers came into town, swept the Braves right out of town. That team's very, very good. But the Braves do get the win in game one of the 5-game set. And look, I was leaving the studio last night. We saw the 2 home runs from Drake. We saw the Marcell Ozuna home run. And I was just glad we were having fun again. It's the little things now, but it's fun to win games. And leaving, it was like, okay, that was refreshing. That was what Braves baseball should be all about. A lot of offense, and given the circumstances, pitching at least something in the back end from the bullpen.
Yeah, Drake Baldwin was the story of the night, no doubt about it, but it was a bullpen win as much as anything else. Carrasco gives it up early, and then you fight your way back, and you do it by scoring in 3 different innings. And that doesn't happen very often around here. 5 runs total, but you did it over the course of 3 innings. So, yeah, good for everybody, because that was a game that you could have rolled over and died on. Now, I'm not telling you this is a big goal. I'm not. You're 8 games behind the Marlins now. If you want to, if this is that sort of, I know I'm not winning a race, but I don't want to finish behind that person. I see them up in front of me. Maybe I can catch them. And I'm not playing moral victories, and I'm not saying there should be, oh, let's pat them on the back if they catch the Miami Marlins this year. I'm not. But if there's something that you look at and you go, what might be attainable? How about not being a 4th-place team? Maybe you're a 3rd-place team. And again, there's no trophies. I don't want medals. Nobody gets a participation, anything. Thanks for the season, boys. This isn't 8-year-old baseball. But at the end of the day, you probably collectively as a fan base need to see something, and that would be this team playing better baseball for the next 7 weeks.
It absolutely. And yesterday you saw Drake with the 2 home runs, and with Mizorowski missing some time, and Agustin Ramirez really kind of the only other real option for Rookie of the Year. If you're looking for a statement, if you're looking for a game that voters are going to point to and say, okay, this is the reason, it's probably last night, his first career multi-home run game. He's now batting either 3rd or 4th in a Braves lineup that has sluggers. Granted, not a lot of them have performed well, but he, in some regards, the most valuable player. I'd say he is the most valuable player on this roster in terms of at least batters. And so I wouldn't say it locked up the Rookie of the Year award, because we never know what's going to happen between now and the end of September. But if this continues, if he continues to play at a reasonably high level, just reasonably high level, I don't see how anybody can catch Drake Baldwin in the race for Rookie of the Year.
So here's how Rookie of the Year differs from MVP. Rookie of the Year is just, were you the best rookie player? MVP, there's supposed to be tangibles plus intangibles. Were you the guy that without you, your team didn't go to the postseason? Well, Drake Baldwin's not getting that vote. Whether it's Isaac Collins or whether it's surprise like the Marlins, and I look at their catcher and go, oh, did he help them be better than they were supposed to be? That's not Rookie of the Year. That's more of an MVP type thing. I'll tell you this, Drake Baldwin's in line to make more than $1 million more than his salary. He'll make more in pre-arb bonuses than he will in 162-game salary. He's accrued all his time. The Braves, if he wins Rookie of the Year, actually get another draft pick. So that's sort of interesting, because that was that whole incentive of don't holding guys down. If they're good, bring them up, and the team will benefit. He won't really benefit in terms of getting the free agency earlier, because his accrued time is going to be a full year. And I was just talking about it with the morning show here in Atlanta. Let's not forget why he was on this opening day roster. He was on this opening day roster because, Sean Murphy broke a rib. And then there was talk, well, that was going on in spring training. Oh, will they send him back down when Sean Murphy comes back to give him quote-unquote seasoning? I think he'll end up playing 72 games in AAA. It might have been 75 total, but I think it was 72 last year in AAA. And he's on the opening day roster. He's going to run the table, and I do think he's going to win Rookie of the Year. And he'll make more than $1 million, $750,000 for winning it. There'll be WAR bonuses attached to it. And I think everybody can feel good about, developing a young player who was yours from day one and turning him into what is not only a Rookie of the Year, but a possibility to be your starting catcher, everyday guy as soon as next season.
Yeah, I'm looking at the odds right now. Drake is minus 215 to win Rookie of the Year. Next closest is Isaac Collins at plus 160, then Agustin Ramirez at plus 400. It's funny. So it's a big gap right now.
Isaac Collins made up all that run. I looked. Isaac Collins wasn't even on anybody's top 8 for for the National League Rookie of the Year 2 months ago. He wins Rookie of the Month, and that'll certainly do it. He's on a playoff contending team. That matters. I think for Drake, the other thing is being a catcher is supposed to matter more when you're a rookie and you have more responsibility as opposed to an outfielder, even a first baseman who might be a power position guy, might hit a couple of more home runs. But I think the catcher thing comes into play. It's like the MVP thing with Schwarber. He'll get banged because he's a DH. Do I think he's the MVP in the National League right there with Ohtani at least? Yes. Ohtani's the unicorn, the freak, and everything else. But MVP to me means if Bryce Harper tells me he's the most important guy in that clubhouse, bar none, by a lot, then I think you're supposed to garner MVP-type votes for the intangibles of who are you leading a team to play to the level that the Phillies have, which could be a division win this year.
So we got a surprise yesterday in batting practice. Some guy named Chris Sale just magically appeared on the mound at Truist Park and started throwing live BP to a bunch of guys, some from Gwinnett. I think Ornelas was in there too. And so he threw 30 pitches. We got to talk to him after the game, and he said he's felt pretty darn solid the last 3-4 weeks. The first couple of weeks, it was really painful, but now he feels good. And depending on how he feels today, then they're going to make a decision. Does he go out for a rehab now, or do you give it a little while longer? But there's no doubt he wants to pitch. I think there's a notion out there among hopefully a small minority of Braves country that he should just shut it down for the season. But he's not do that. He's a pitcher. Pitchers pitch. They want to feel good going into the offseason. Chris wants to know, hey, this is what I have to work on, and this is where I'm comfortable going into an offseason, maybe one of his last off seasons as a professional pitcher. So he's going to pitch. He should play, and it looks like it's going to be sooner rather than later.
Medically, I can speak to this. I went to chiropractic school, and I worked on Dead Fred, my cadaver, for the entirety of a year. What Austin Riley's suffering from soft tissue pull, as opposed to what Chris Sale suffered from break. It feels terrible for as long as it feels terrible, but ribs heal, bones heal. You don't have a lingering effect the way that you do with something that Austin's dealing with. Had he torn cartilage between his ribs, it would have been not only painful, but then I think I'd worry more about torque and action and, you know, his motion on top of everything else. Bones heal. That's the difference in soft tissue, cartilage, ligament, muscle, tendon even, as opposed to a bone problem. And yeah, he sounded like a complete adult because that's what he is. When he matter-of-factly says, I've missed a lot of baseball. I don't want to miss any more baseball. I like playing baseball, and I'd like to set up my off season. And if I shut it down healthy, when the season ends, I know what my routine is. If I shut it down not knowing I'm healthy or just being this lingering bullshit stuff, had it been muscle, soreness, something in his elbow, something in his shoulder, I would have been in the camp of, hey, maybe you think about shutting him down. This is not one of those that you do that for. And remember, this guy's been the king of the freak injury. It's crazy what's happened to this guy. He doesn't want to miss any more baseball games. He's got a limited time in this game. You think that guy wants to pass up 6 starts, and you go, oh, what is 6 starts in the course of a major league career when a guy's 37 years old? Well, it matters to him now because he's missed time. You know, you get a little hungry when you actually miss baseball games that matter. The only problem I have, and I told you this last night, my biggest problem with Chris Sale is I can't believe I'm going to go 2 full years without seeing him pitch in the postseason for the Braves. That's what bothers me. He'll get another crack next year, you know, unless some unforsaken deal happens in the offseason where he gets moved. He'll have one more chance. And the idea that Mark Teixeira in only 1 year didn't make the postseason and other guys, it was sort of crappy. This would be almost criminal if we don't get to see a guy who's pitched in a World Series and won one at least try to push the Braves through a postseason next year.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And it was nice to see him. And of course, Chris is very self-deprecating. He said, if he does come back, when he does come back, he's not going to go after choppers up the middle. He said that's what happens when pitchers try to be athletes. So I don't think he wants to be an athlete anymore. He wants to be a pitcher.
What a ridiculous confluence of events. He's trying to throw the complete game, and I think it was Nick Allen made 2 plays behind him that got him out of a couple of innings. And had he thrown 12 more pitches in those first 8 innings, no matter where they were, he's not even in the 9th inning. Yeah. But I don't blame him. His pitch count was right. They wanted to get him a complete game, and he falls on a baseball like it was a grenade. And as I said yesterday, you heard pop, pop. And those are 2 ribs. Like that is the stupidest.
They're not explosions. They're from bombs and from grenades. Those are ribs.
Yeah, just two cracks. And then you go, oh, let me just throw and see. And remember, he didn't come out of the game immediately. In the post game, we hear, oh, he's what? What? What's getting looked at? What? So the whole thing was just crazy. But that's what's happened to him a few times in his career. What did he do? Did he fall off a bike? He break a finger?
I think he did.
He broke a finger.
Yeah, that sounds right.
On another one, on a comeback or something. It's just crap. He doesn't want to miss any more games. So I'm really cool with him being who he is. And we say this, he's as vocal as it gets. He's sort of the dude in that clubhouse as much as anybody. It's just hard to beat as a pitcher. But get to the postseason and let's see this guy maybe push the Braves through something in 2026.
I'm looking at his injury history right now, thanks to Google's AI. He was hurt 3 times in 2022. Stress fracture in his ribs, pinky fracture, and then a broken wrist in late 2022 falling off a bike.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. And then he had, don't forget what happened last year. He doesn't pitch in a postseason game. I'm telling you, I've been doing this 32 years. I've watched a lot of good Braves teams and bad Braves teams. And there was a moment, I know when it was in 99. I gave away my Mets card. I said, I'm a Braves fan. I know people here. I know people on the team. I live here. I don't want to, I didn't have kids yet, but I decided pretty early on as a dad, I'm not forcing my crap on my kids. So they were going to be raised, if we lived here, Atlanta fans. So I'd made that decision. Since that time, there's been stuff that's been aggravating. There's been stuff that's been infuriating. There's been joy. There's been, another World Series on top of the 1995 one. But at the end of the day, there are certain guys you sort of gravitate towards, and you want to see them get a shot. I think Chris Sale, with the career he's had, the way he's handled himself, he deserves one more shot at postseason glory. And I don't mean glory because he's going to play dig me. I mean just, hey, let's not forget about it. Let's give this guy one more chance. And he's going to have another chance next year. He and everybody around him has to do the job where I don't go at the end of the day, we had Chris Sale for 3 fucking years, and I didn't see him pitch in a postseason game. That's, to me, why every bit as much as anything else, this team's got to get on track next year because there are things that not only being in the postseason matters, makes you feel good as a fan, makes everybody believe in what it is you're doing and what your system is, but there are certain guys that you do root for more than others. I find myself rooting for Chris Sale to have one more opportunity to get that bite at that apple.
For sure. Last thing, we did see Ronald Acuña make a cameo at batting practice again. He was taking grounders at shortstop and second base a couple of days ago, and then suddenly he appears with his regular group taking batting practice. He looked good. He didn't show any signs that the tightness in his calf was bothering him. He hit, some bombs to the top of the Hank Aaron Terrace. So he's still got the power is there. So we should be seeing him soon. And of course, sort of the same thing with Chris Sale. He wants to play. He's a baseball player. He wants to get back to the level he was at before. And so he's going to come back. And I don't think he's going to need a rehab start, but it does look like, what is he? He can come off today, right?
Yeah,
Is it tomorrow?
Snitch sort of indicated that it was, he's a little sore still. He still feels it.
Couple days.
He seemed to be doing, baseball type activities. The one thing that we haven't seen him do is run. Can you run? Can you run backwards, forwards? Can you go side to side? You got to pass the test. Can you hit a bag and go? And those are the ones that you always hold your breath about. Because if you're doing it at 60%, which is what you do it at 60% to see if you can do it at 75%, you worry as the escalation is, going up. And he's in a very similar, while he's younger, situation than Chris Sale. He's missed enough baseball games. And I'm sorry, I don't feel terrible saying this. If a guy tells me he's looking at his numbers and you go, my God, I've missed 2 years. Chris Sale, I missed 2 years. I don't mind if in the back of their mind, they think about that. Why would I not want to have more home runs and more RBI if I'm Ronald Acuña? Yeah, I want to play for 2 months. At the end of the day, people are going to look at my baseball reference page and they're going to go, oh, and if you're 3 home runs short of a milestone, yeah, but I had a hamstring. I was good. They didn't want to play me. It's not going to be acceptable. And I don't mind if a player can't say that out loud. I'm allowed to. I'm okay with a guy going, I've missed baseball. I've missed a lot of numbers. I would like, for the next 7 weeks, I would like an opportunity to accumulate whatever it is I can.
Yeah. So, but Ronald should be back as well. That means the 40-game winning streak is starting very, very soon. And it started apparently last night with the Marlins. But in all seriousness, it'd be nice to get a win over a good Marlins team. Like you said, you want to pass them in the standings, small goals, and just getting some momentum and having fun. Baseball's supposed to be an enjoyable sport. It's an outlet, and fans had a really good time. There were a couple times yesterday, and there weren't a lot of people there. The announced attendance was 30 something, but that was paid. But there were a couple times last night that I kind of felt, okay, This is what it's supposed to be like. The tomahawk chop comes out unprompted, right?
Well,
when it's unprompted, that feels different.
You got deflated early because you got a guy on the mound who's really not supposed to be on the mound for you. He gives up 5 runs. The joy came in. My bullpen was good, and my players decided not to roll over. My offense showed up for the last 3 innings. We scored. We got back the 5 runs that our starter gave up, and you ended up winning the baseball game. One more thing, too. One man's problem is another man's, treasure. Because Eli White is a guy that, we keep saying this, but he's put himself in a position where whatever his family life is, he'll be able to say, as his exit interview happens, he'll be able to go home. Think about this. Whatever it is they tell him on the last day when they clean out lockers, somebody's going to tell him, really looking forward to seeing you next year. Congratulations on what it is you've done. Now, it's not going to be eye-popping. It's not going to be all worldly. He's not a guy that you say, well, wait, can he break and crack the starting lineup for this team? But there is going to be something for that guy this offseason that he hasn't had, if ever. He's going to be able to sit down at Christmas or whatever it is they do, birthdays, anniversaries, and they're going to know that this guy next February is going to have a job in Major League Baseball. Yeah. Because he's earned that right. And that's in part, we say this, one guy goes down, next man up. Well, sometimes the next man up doesn't help himself. Eli White helped himself. He keeps his mouth shut. He's got a skill set that's speed. He's got a little bit of pop. He can be a 4th or a 5th outfielder. I don't want to play him a lot, but to have him is better than not having him, especially at the price.
Yeah, he's pretty indispensable, and he certainly has been for this team this year. We'll wrap things up here on Braves Central. He's Chris Dimino. I'm Barrett Sallee. Of course, full coverage of the final 4 games of the 5-game set between the Braves and the Marlins will be on the Braves Radio Network and, of course, locally here in Atlanta on 680 The Fan. We'll talk to you on Monday.